Hi, my name is Kara, and I'm one of the educational consultants with CET in Cincinnati. And today, we're going to take a look at Flipgrid. Flipgrid makes a great communication tool, and it's free. So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, Flipgrid is a free online video discussion platform for all ages, so anywhere from preschool all the way to college and beyond. Teachers can pose questions or discussion topics, and students can record and then edit and add creative touches to their video responses. It becomes interactive when students are able to reply to each other and teachers are able to give feedback on what the kids have submitted as their video discussion. The other great thing about Flipgrid is that sometimes those kids that you can't really get to talk in class, this gives them the security of being able to have kind of control over their response, and they also know that maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be shared with all of their classmates, or they can tweak their video as such that they don't really have to be seen in the video if they're a little bit shy. So let's take a look at Flipgrid and the platform, and let's get started. So I've headed over to Flipgrid, and you'll notice on the home page, right in the center, is an enter a join code. That's where your students can place the unique code that we'll talk about here in just a moment to join your group or topic. But first, if you're new to Flipgrid, you're going to want to come over to the educator sign up and get your free account before you get started. It's pretty easy. All you're going to do is click the educator sign up, and then it's going to ask you which account or login option you would like to use. So I am just going to go ahead and sign in. You'll notice when you log into Flipgrid, you end up on the discussion page. And this will be your launching page where you're creating your topics or your groups. So before we dig into what's available here, I quickly want to go over the other tabs along the top. So Discovery is a great tab if you're wanting to start using Flipgrid, but you're not sure quite how to begin or what the best lesson option would be. You can always come to Discovery, search for items that are already available, curated for you, and ready to go. It's also a great option when you're maybe running out of items or you're just looking for something quick or even maybe for a sub. So the Discovery tab is really helpful, and you can always tag things to save to your My Library. The activity page is just a quick launch of all your topics that are in play so that you can quickly just jump and see all of those at one time. Your mixtapes makes it easy to create collections of videos from any of your topics so that you can get a little more creative. Shorts, you can create screen shares that are easy to share with your students. And Grid Pals, if you're looking to connect with other educators all across the country that are using Flipgrid, this is the place to go. And you can decide if you want to be an active educator within this network or if you just want to connect with others. So I'm going to hop back over to the discussion tab because this is where you're going to spend most of your time. So when you begin using Flipgrid, something you're going to want to decide are how best to organize your Flipgrid. So groups allow you to create a landing page for a certain class in which you can post all your topics in. So I like to think about it like a class homepage almost, but it's tied strictly to Flipgrid. So do you want to share your group code with your students and have them just going to that one place to see if you have posted a new topic? Or do you want to utilize the topics only and you don't necessarily want to organize it? So And you can always set up a group, for your organizational purposes, and then only share the topics with your students that you're creating. However you want to go about it, and whatever works easiest for you is obviously what you need to do. But I'm going to go ahead and set up a group so that you can see some of the settings that you want to be aware of. And you'll notice, so each of these are other groups that I've created. And this is great too if you have multiple periods that you're teaching. So you might want to group for each period so that you can keep things separated. So you're going to come in to create a new group, and the first thing it's going to ask for is a group name. Okay, you'll notice that it's given me a unique join code to this group. Now, if you want to come up with something easier for your kids to remember so that they're constantly just coming into the group page, you can always tailor that to something else. So maybe I just want to make it Hutch third, and that's available. So notice that's another thing that you're going to have to keep in mind, is it's got to be something that ends up being available. So if my kids could remember that, that might be a good way to make it easy on them to remember our group code every time they're coming in. Okay, so remember too that the group these settings are for your overall page for your class. So you'll have separate settings for each topic that you create. Okay. So your permissions. So you're going to want to decide how you want your students to log in. And if you're making them public, you do have that option here. But if you're wanting to keep them private, you have 3 login options. Totally up to you. If you choose school email, you've got to put in your domain. So what's at the end of your email address so that it can recognize it. You can decide on your features and whether you want your students to receive email notifications. You can make your group status active or you can hide it. So if you're not using it, you can always hide things. And then you can personalize what that landing page looks like. So think about like your landing page for your class website. So, or even Google Classroom, those headers at the top. So I'm going to create group. Now, if what I want to share with my students is the group and I want to train them to just go to that group every time I'm posting a topic, I can go ahead and share this with them. And really all they need is that ending code. Okay. But they also make it really easy for you to share it out with any of these platforms. So if you're using Teams or Google Classroom or Remind, you can share that straight out from here. I'm going to go ahead and just wait. The other nice thing about creating a group is that you have the option to add a Copilot. So if you have a team teacher, you can add he or she as a Copilot so that they can edit and review and create topics within your class as well. Okay. You also have the option to share. So it's that same link from here for your group. And you've got other options under the Actions tab. So you can export data and add Copilots from there, etc. If you need to edit your group at any time, you can edit any of those features here. Okay. You'll also notice that Flipgrid goes ahead and every time you create a group, they've got this little intro topic all set up for you. And sometimes if it's your first go around using it, it's a great way to get started. And especially too, if you're introducing this at the beginning of the school year, it's a great get to know you activity. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this as a topic. But notice too, I can add new topics right in my group, or I can go back to my home screen and there's a topics tab here, and I can add a topic from the home screen as well. So if you're not using groups and you're strictly just using topics, remember that you can always start those from that discussion tab. When you first come in, you just go to topics along the top and you can start building your topics. Okay, but I'm going to go back into my group and create this topic within here. Okay, and you can see my student tab, and I'm the only student currently. Here's your code for Digital Learning Day. You can use this code to get your certificate of attendance. All you have to do is write down that code and then head over to ohioedtex.org. Along the top, you'll look for the tab that says Digital Learning Day 2021. You can click on that, or there's also a drop-down that says Certificates of Attendance. If you click on that, you'll be led to a form that you can complete where you'll have to insert this code in order to receive your certificate of attendance. Okay, and the thing I want you to know is you can click on this and look at what they have, what the directions are, and then you can always come over to the pencil here, or if I go back, you've got this pencil at the side that you can always click on to edit this to make it your own. Okay, so I'm going to leave everything pretty much as it is, but just know that you can always edit the title. You can edit or add any directions that you would like. You can change the icon here. And then here are the settings for the individual topic. So these are different than the group. And I'm going to let you kind of peruse on your own to decide what you'd like to do, but there's a few I'd like to point out. And the first one is topic moderation. I always like to toggle this button on because that means that I have to view and approve videos that my students are creating before they are posted for the entire class to see. And if you've been teaching long enough, I'm sure that you understand why I choose to turn that on. But I also know some groups that I've had, it wouldn't be necessary. So that's totally up to you, but I want you to be aware that that topic moderation allows you to approve the video before it posts to the class. Okay? You're also going to want to decide your commenting features because you may not want to allow students to record videos back to each other. It all depends on what you're working on or using Flipgrid for. You can always make it none or text only, video only, etc. You can turn those off. You can decide on recording time, but a get to know you video, I'm going to leave that at 1:30, but you do have other options up to 10 minutes. The attachments piece is really nice if you are sending your kids on a scavenger hunt or you're using Flipgrid to do some sort of group investigation and there are documents that you need your kids to have access to while they are creating the videos. You can add those attachments here. So it's great so that they have access to everything kind of all in one place and they're not having to toggle between different tabs and different things. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is status. So currently it's going to default to active. So that means that my topic is ready to be used. But notice you can also schedule when this turns off. So if you're giving things due dates, that might be a good one to do. I don't usually worry about it since I'm moderating the videos anyway. But if you're choosing not to moderate the videos, you might want to give it a shut-off date. You can always, too, freeze this specific topic so that you are no longer accepting submissions, or you can always hide it. And then I'm going to pop down here to video features. So in Flipgrid, when the kids are creating their videos, they're going to have the option to add emojis and frames and make their videos personal to themselves. And you also have those effects for their selfie that ends up being the thumbnail to their video. So you want to decide kind of what options you want them to have on those video features. And you can turn everything off. You can allow them to have it on their cover images and the videos. You can put it, so you decide what you'd like for them to do. I'm going to leave it on so I can show you what I'm talking about. Then attachment links, you can turn on and off likes. Downloading, I like to turn that one off, but it's totally up to you. The viewing count, etc. Okay. The other thing you're going to want to decide before you create your topics are how you want to give feedback. So I'm going to leave mine at basic feedback, but as you use Flipgrid more and more, you may decide that you want to add custom feedback, which allows you to do things like rubrics, and it allows for more specifications. So I'm going to go ahead and just update my topic, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Okay, so like I said before, you may want to share each individual topic with the class as an individual assignment in Google Classroom, or you may just want to share that group code in Classroom as a material and leave it there, and maybe you post an announcement that says, hey, I've posted a new topic in Flipgrid, check it out, etc. So it depends. You can share both ways. So to share my topic, when I'm ready, I'm going to go to share, and notice it gives it a different code here at the end. So you can share that code with the kids if you're not using Classroom or Teams or one of these wonderful platforms. You can share that ending code with them to join. But I'm going to do Google Classroom. It's going to have me select which class I'd like for it to go in. Then it's going to have me choose an action. So do I want to make it an announcement, which is exactly what I'm going to do. It's going to have me add a title. And then I can obviously type in instructions here. Okay. Then there is that link that it's automatically plugged in for me. I can go ahead and give it a point value and a due date, assign it a topic, etc. Now, just like always, even if I was strictly in Google Classroom, if I wanted to schedule this to go out at a different time, I could do that, but I'm going to go ahead and assign it. Okay, under the classwork tab, here it is, introduce yourself. I can pop straight into, it's going to ask me to sign in. Okay, so here are my directions. If I'm a struggling reader, it does have this immersive reader feature, which allows me to click on it and it will read me the directions if it loads. Okay, know that that's available. It usually works and loads. So I'm going to go ahead and record a response because I know, how do you pronounce your name? What is something we should know about you? All right. So your kids will come in here, and before they get started, now they can always add things, take things out as they record, as long as they pause the recording. But they're going to want to set up their features. So under options, they've got all these features available to them, even if they're doing a screen share, which I think is nice. Then over here on effects, they've got nice filters that they can add to themselves. Some kids like this, if they're worried about their hair for the day, they're at home. You've got frames you can add to your video. You can add emojis. There are all sorts of emojis. There are people, accessories, music, reactions, magic, and American Sign Language. Now, all of these things are resizable. So if I wanted to pop some sunglasses on myself, I could go ahead and do that, and I can resize. I could, twist them around. I can copy them. So if for the start of my video, I want to be wearing sunglasses and then I want to change into something else, I can do that. I can also draw or type on my screen. You've also got a board option. So if I was asked to explain something in the middle of my video, I could always completely cut myself out and give you an explanation and get rid of my sunglasses. Or I could split screen so that I'm still explaining to you what I've done over here. And you can upload photos. Also, if your kids are on phones or tablets, they have the option to flip that camera. The other great thing is when they're in here recording, they can come up to this topic button that will give them the assignment. So if they forget what they're supposed to be doing, it's right here for them. I enabled sticky notes on my settings. So if they want to do that, they can add those here. And then they're ready to film. So as soon as they're all set up and ready to go, they can record. I'm going to pop this over myself. There we go. Okay, so if I'm ready to record, I can say, my name is Kara. Some people pronounce it Kara, but I've known it as Kara my whole life. Then I could pause. I could take this off. I could take, the board off and finish out my video. Once I'm ready, I can click next. And this is where it will allow your kids to edit so they can cut things down and fix what they don't like. When they're ready, they click next. Next, they can choose their display name. If they've got additional items that they want to add, they can do that here. They can select a frame from their video that they would like to be their thumbnail. All mine look the same, so I did allow them to take a selfie, so they can do that as their thumbnail. So that's what you'll see for the thumbnail of my video. They can upload a photo, so if they've got a school photo or something, and they can add a name tag. So I can add something fun instead of a picture if I'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and submit. And you'll notice it says that this is pending because obviously I left that instructor moderation turned on. So I have to approve it before it's available for the whole class to see. So I'm going to hop back over into the teacher version. I'll do a quick refresh. And you'll notice at the bottom I've got one response. Here it's hidden because that's what I've decided for it to do. I can go ahead and click and review the video. From here I can give feedback, I can edit, and there is a closed captioning option. If I decide that everything is good, I can make it active to share it with the class, and I'm good to go. Okay, so there are so many ways to use Flipgrid, and it's just a fun way to kind of incorporate some of those apps that the kids are already using in their free time, like Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok, to make it an educational kind of presence in their creativity. So I hope that you'll check it out. If you have any questions, let me know, and enjoy your Flipgrid adventure.